Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on orders over $10. From July 6, 2020 through August 7, 2020, if you use this promo code, you will be automatically entered into a drawing to win a double Masters booster box. Also, there is another way to win where no purchase is necessary. See the link in the description below for full details. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends. Welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. Again, we have another big episode for you. A lot of cards are moving in value. Some of it, of course, is due to the fact that Core Set 2021 just came out. Jumpstart is about to officially come out. And on top of that, there's going to be some changes to some of the formats on Monday, including Modern. There's speculation around that is moving some card prices. A lot to talk about. Quickly before we get started though, just a fast reminder, if you go to FlipsideGaming.com, you can use that Heroes promo code to save 10% on orders over $10. Currently, they do have double masters on their site for pre-order. You can pick up booster boxes, VIP boxes, or VIP packs. If you use the Heroes promo code, the booster box goes down to $297, and that includes shipping in the United States. Thought that was a pretty good deal, just wanted to pass it along. And of course, whenever you use the promo code, it does support the channel, which is always appreciated. So thank you, and without any further ado, let's get into it. We're going to begin, as we always do, with Standard by looking at the top 6 Standard legal cards that have lost value this week. So a couple of things, just keep in mind that Standard is still in a really weird place. Yes, we have started a new season, but most people can't sit down and play in paper, so that's just doing some weird things to card prices overall. Also, I haven't worked the Core Set 2021 cards into this video yet, just because they are still moving very dramatically, and they would kind of take over everything. So maybe in another week or so, I'll keep an eye on it. If I can work them into next week's video, I'll do so. But when it comes to where everything falls this week, I kind of placed everything as if that set hasn't come out yet. Number 6 is Heliod's Sun Crown, down 59 cents to $12. Not much of a standard card here, but it has seen a lot of play in Pioneer and Mono White Devotion. It has seen a little Modern play, and it's popular in Commander, both as a Commander and part of the 99. This week, though, it does stabilize down a little bit. Number 5 is Fabled Passage from Throne of Eldraine, down 67 cents to $9.40. Now, this has been a staple in the Standard as well as the Pioneer format ever since it came out, but it has been losing value. Why is that? Well, the 2020 Challenger decks did bring extra copies of this card to the marketplace. You could find one copy in the Final Adventure deck as well as one copy in the Flash of Ferocity deck. On top of that, this also got reprinted in Core Set 2021. Number 4 is Woodland Mystic. It goes down 82 cents to $3.55, and it's just stabilizing down after a slight increase that occurred recently. Now, what's weird about this card is you can't get it in Core Set 2020 Draft Booster Packs. The only place to find this card is the Green Welcome deck. There's one copy in there. Number 3 is Hydroid Crisis, down $1.02 to $18.26. And here's an example of what I'm talking about. You have a card here that is seeing a fair amount of play early on in this new Standard season. It's in Bant and Sultai Ramp decks as well as others in the format. But because a lot of players have given up on playing this season, this is a card that will be rotating out in the fall. Some folks are getting rid of it. This also has seen some increased Commander play though recently in builds like Zexara the Exemplary and Kinnan Bonder Prodigy. Number 2 is another card that will rotate out this fall, but it's also a very, very playable card. It is Teferi Time Raveler, going down $1.19 to $15.55. Again, you'll find this in Bant Ramp. It's also in Azorius Control, Bant Flash, and more in the Standard format. Also continues to see Modern, Pioneer, Legacy, Vintage, and Commander play. Number 1 is Uro Titan of Nature's Wrath, down $4.12 to $52.77. This is retracting after a very big spike last week, and I do think it's going to retract a little more before it does stabilize. It is a fantastic card, though. It does not rotate out this fall. Currently, it's seeing play in Temur Reclamation, very popular deck, also in Bant and Sultai Ramp, Bant Flash, and more. And it does see Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, and Commander play too. Alright, on to your top 9 standard legal cards that have gained value this week. Number 9 is Sorin Imperious Bloodlord, up 48 cents to $11.39. Now, this hasn't seen a lot of standard play, but in Pioneer, it's in Mono Black Vampires. In Commander, you'll find this in Edgar Markov builds. It has seen some increased play recently too, since the Lend of the Duskgrows decks have become a little bit better with that Commander rules change. And now you have cards like Vito Thorn of the Duskgrows and Silver Smoke Ghoul pushing this as well. Number 8 is Stomping Ground. This is the original one from Guild Pact. It goes up 48 cents to $18.99. Now, this card lost value for a while because there was one copy of the Ravnica Allegiance version of the card in the Savage Hunger Brawl deck. Since then, it has been starting to track up again, but a lot of that is due to the fact that it's in a huge standard deck, Temur Reclamation. It's also in Jund's Sacrifice and more right now in the format. And like all these shock lands, it continues to see Pioneer, Modern, and Commander play too. Number 7 is Shark Typhoon. It goes up 58 cents to $6. And this is another card you'll find in Thiemo Reclamation, Bant and Sultai Ramp, Azorius Control, Bant Flash, and more currently. And again, another card that sees play in a lot of other formats too, Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, Vintage, and Commander. Number 6 is Blood Crypt from Dissension, the original. It goes up 59 cents to $26. And this is a card that's in the mana base for Jund and Rakdos Sacrifice decks right now, and also sees some more play in the standard format too. Number 5 is Watery Grave from Ravnica City of Guilds. It goes up 62 cents to $19.40. And there was one copy of the Guilds of Ravnica version of this in the Fairy Schemes Brawl deck that did bring the price down for a little while. Tracking back up again now, and currently you will find this in Sultai Ramp as well as some other decks in the standard format. Number 4 is Steelbane Hydra. This is from Throne of Eldraine, going up 63 cents to $4.47, but don't look in the draft packs for this. You're not going to find it there. Originally, you could find one copy of this in the Wild Bounty Brawl deck, also shows up in collector boosters, but it has seen increased play in Commander with Zixara the Exemplary recently. Number 3 is Questing Beast, up 67 cents to $16.64. This is in Grow Midrange, Mono Green Monsters, and more in the format. Also sees some Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, and Commander play too. Number 2 is Priest of Forgotten Gods, up 74 cents to $3. You'll find this one in Jund and Rakdos Sacrifice decks. Also in Commander, this is in many Teysa Karlov and Korvold the Fate-Cursed King builds, among others. And again, Elenda the Dusk Rose builds also run this many times too. Number 1 is the Great Henge, going up $1.68 to $27.99. You'll find this one in Mono Green Monsters and more in Standard, but it's a very highly played Commander card currently. Okay, on to Pioneer and your top 8 Pioneer legal cards that have lost value this week. Number 8 is a card that was recently reprinted in Signature Spellbook Chandra. It is Chandra Torch of Defiance from Kaladesh. It goes down 85 cents to $13.99. Basically moving down because of that reprinting. You'll find this in Mono Red Aggro and Modern many times in Gruul mid-range builds. Also too, this has seen increased Commander play in Torbrand Thane of Red Fell builds recently. Number 7, Liliana the Last Hope, down 93 cents to $35.97. Here's a card that was going up in value rather aggressively not too long ago, but it didn't really pan out when it comes to the amount of play that it is seeing currently in Pioneer. A lot of people had high expectations for this card. It does show up in some Mono Black Vampire sideboards, and it does continue to see some Modern and Legacy play too. Number 6 is Rakdos Charm, down $1 to $1.10, but this is just moving rather aggressively because it is a card that's a little bit harder to find in the secondary market. This is the copy from the Ravnica Allegiance Rakdos Guild Kit. It is a highly played Commander card. Number 5 is Sliver Hivelord from Magic 2015. It goes down $1.40 to $15.93. Now, of course, recently the Sliver decks have been very popular in Commander, but this one was reprinted in Mystery Boosters not too long ago. Number 4 is Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth. This again is the copy from Magic 2015, going down $1.48 to $25.91. This card has been hot recently, so it's not too surprising to see some retraction this week as things begin to stabilize, but the card does see a lot of play. Mono Black Vampires, Mono Black Aggro, and more in Pioneer, sees Modern and Legacy play too, and in Commander it has seen increased play recently in Zixara builds, but now I see a lot of people putting this card in their Tiny Bones lists too. Number 3 is a card that actually should go into the Standard section, but because I haven't added Core Set 2021 into the series yet, I left it in the Pioneer section and made this section a little bit bigger this week. This is Heroic Intervention from Aether Revolt. It goes down $2.66 this week to $11.76. It is actually seeing Standard play already in Mono Green Monsters and more. It also sees a little Pioneer play, but it is a highly played Commander card. The only reason it is going down is because of the reprint in Core Set 2021. Number 2, Cyclonic Rift. It sees a little Modern play, but everybody knows this card for Commander, of course. It is huge there. And it has been going up in value a lot, so again, we're seeing some retraction this week. Modern Masters 2017 down $1.25 to $38.28. Commander 2014, that copy goes down $2.95 to $35.33. And number 1, another card that actually will most likely be in the Standard section next week, is Ugin the Spirit Dragon from Fate Reforged. It goes down $4.30 to $42.02. In Standard right now, this is in Bant and Sultai Ramp builds. Also in Pioneer, it's in Lotus Breach. Modern Tron decks sometimes will have this. And of course, it does see heavy Commander play as well. Again, the only reason it is going down is because it was reprinted in Core Set 2021. All right, on to your top 7 Pioneer legal cards that have gained value this week. This feels like just as good a place as any to throw in my disclaimer. Yet again this week, the key driver for cards going up in value is Commander. You're not going to see a lot of Pioneer cards here. For the rest of this video, we're going to be talking mostly about Commander cards, honestly, with some exceptions maybe here or there. But just keep that in mind as we move forward. Let's start off with number 7. It's Archangel of Thune. This is the one from Iconic Masters. It goes up $1.97 to $28.53. And this has seen increased Commander play in Heliod Sun Crown builds. Also, sometimes this is in Kaalia of the Vast decks, and of course we know that's getting reprinted in Double Masters. Recently, the existing copies of that card have gone down in value because of that reprinting announcement. Although, stay tuned, there's one copy creeping up already. Number 6 is Growing Rights of Itlimoc. This goes up $1.99 to $19.47, and this is another really solid Commander card. It recently saw increased play in builds like Zera's The Writhing Storm, Kinnan Prodigy. This was also in a Radha Heart of the Kjell build that was on Commander Versus that could have brought some attention to the card. Remember, Riz the Redeemed was recently reprinted in Mystery Boosters, and this plays well with that card. Also, this is showing up in Ren and Ciri Inseparable builds. Overall, this is just a highly played Commander card. Number 5 is Crucible of Worlds. 3 copies going up this week. 10th edition up $2.19 to $27.48. 5th Dawn up $2.22 to $28.27. And Magic 2019 goes up $3.31 to $27.99. Now, this does still see some vintage play, but now it's more of a Commander card than anything. This is great in lands builds and more there. Number 4, Liliana of the Dark Realms. Magic 2013 goes up $2.75 to $17.46. Magic 2014 goes up $4.05 to $20.97. This is another solid Commander card that's showing up in those Tiny Bones Trinket Thief deck lists. Number 3 is Brimaz, King of Oreskos. This goes up $4.19 to $24. This has seen a lot of Commander play in those Arabo Cat builds, but now it is seeing more play because of a couple newer cards. First, it was Winona Joiner of Forces. This was in a lot of those decks. And now, more recently, it's Ren and Ciri Inseparable. Number 2 is Door of Destinies, the original from Morningtide, going up $7.66 this week to $17.83. This is a great card for Commander Tribal builds. It has had some increased interest. I'm seeing this in a lot of the Sethron Herloon General lists, and also in Ren and Ciri Inseparable builds. Number 1 is Waste Not, the one from Commander 2016, going up $7.95 this week to $24.89. This card has been very hot. It did see some increased Commander play recently because of Kroxa, but now it's all about that new Jumpstart card, Tiny Bones. We'll be talking more about that as the video goes on. Okay, let's move on to the top 5 modern legal cards that have lost value this week. Coming in at number 5 is Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre. This is the one for Modern Masters 2015. It goes down $3.45 to $48.95. However, another copy is actually going up in value. We're going to see that a little later. Now, this card is typically found in Kozilek the Great Distortion builds in Commander, but it also has seen increased play there because of Kinnan Prodigy. Many times you'll find it in those decks. Number 4, a card that has been spiking aggressively, finally goes down a little bit this week. It's Auntie's Hovel, down $4.19 to $38. So initially, the reason this got so hot was Conspicuous Snoop from Core Set 2021. As a matter of fact, in Modern, a lot of players are playing the combo of Conspicuous Snoop, Bogart Harbinger, Kiki-Jiki Mirror Breaker, and Sling Gang Lieutenant in a Goblin deck. Now, when it comes to Commander, you could play that combo there too, but there's also some cards from Jumpstart that got people interested in Goblins even above and beyond what we saw from Conspicuous Snoop. New Legendary Goblin, Muxus Goblin Grandy. They also reprinted Krenko Mob Boss there too. Number 3 is Flooded Grove from Eventide. This card has been going up actually pretty aggressive recently as well. This goes down $5.34 this week, though, to $13.95. These filter lands in general have been hot, and the only place they really see play nowadays is Commander for the most part. Number 2 is Doubling Season from Modern Masters, and even though we know this is getting reprinted in Double Masters, there's been a lot of activity around Doubling Seasons here or there, especially this copy of the card. It finally does go down this week, $8.78 to $55.98. I think that's a combination of the card was a little inflated to begin with, and secondly, we're getting closer to the release of Double Masters. However, a different copy of this card is going up. You're going to see that later in the video. So why has the card been so hot even with the impending reprint? It's because it is a highly played Commander card. Many times you'll find this in Atraxa builds, and of course we know that's also getting reprinted in Double Masters, which did make the existing copies of that card go down in price a little bit. Also, Riz the Redeemed was reprinted in Mystery Boosters not too long ago, another card that plays well with that one, and it has seen more play in new Commander builds like Zixara the Exemplary, Ren and Ciri Inseparable, and Zera's The Writhing Storm. Number 1, another card trending down after some aggressive spikes. It is Sliver Legion from Future Sight, down $9.04 to $99.99. Sliver Commander decks have been hot ever since the reprinting of Sliver Hive Lord and Sliver Overlord. This card just took off for a while. starting to normalize a bit. Okay, let's move on to your top 5 modern legal cards that have gained value this week. Number 5 is the other Ulamog the Infinite Gyre, I promise. This is the one from Rise of the Eldrazi. It goes up $3.40 this week to $45. Number 4, Cavern of Souls, Ultimate Masters up $4.77 to $74.99. Avacyn Restored up $4.78 to $79.99. Now, this actually does see modern play. This is an Eldrazi Tron, Humans, Amulet Titan, and also that new Goblin deck I was talking about earlier that was made possible thanks to Core Set 2021's Conspicuous Snoop. Aside from that, this is a great tribal land and commander. You'll find this in new Goblin builds. Again, we mentioned those earlier too. It's also seen some increased play in Winona Joiner Forces decks, Rin and Syrian Separable. Just overall, a very highly played card in Commander. Also sees Legacy and Vintage play too. Number 3 is Exquisite Blood from Avacyn Restored. This is being reprinted in Jumpstart. It has been going down in value. Stabilizes back up a little bit this week though, at $5.61 to $41.52. Again, I think the card is just drying up a little bit in the marketplace. There's more copies coming very soon, but it is a very popular Commander card yet again. It combos with Sanguine Bond, and of course it will see increased Commander play going forward in builds like Vito Thorn of the Duskgrows and Tiny Bones Trinket Thief. Number 2 is going up for the same reasons that Ulamog the Infinite Gyre was going up. This is Kozilek Butcher of Truth, Modern Masters 2015 up $2.33 to $56.44. Rise of the Eldrazi up $7.35 this week to $59.90. Number 1 is Grave Pact. 9th edition goes up $1.23 to $18.92. 8th edition up $13.32 to $41. This has seen a lot of Commander play, especially in builds like Teysa Karlov, but now that the Death Trigger rule has changed in Commander, this card actually gets better. You could play this with Kokusho, the Evening Star, as your commander, for example. Also, this is seeing more play with an upcoming Jumpstart card, Kjell's Fight Fixer. Alright, that brings us to the Vintage Spotlight. This is where we talk about cards that see play in Legacy, Vintage, 93, 94, of course, Commander 2, and also cards that are popular among collectors. We're going to begin with Sylvan Library. 4th edition goes up $2.51 this week to $66. Eternal Masters up $3.75 to $71.95. This sees Legacy and Vintage play, and it's also a very highly played Commander card, especially good in those competitive builds. Green Sun Zenith from Eternal Masters goes up $3.81 to $23. This is in Legacy and Vintage decks, and it's another card that sees a lot of Commander play. It's good in those big mana builds. This has seen increased play with Kinnan Bonder Prodigy and Zixara the Exemplary around. Imperial Recruiter from Masters 25 up $4.07 this week to $53.19. And this does see play in the Painter's Grindstone builds in Legacy. Also has seen increased Commander play in builds like Zerta Dawnwaker and Winona Joiner of Forces. Gilded Drake from Urza Saga on the reserve list. It goes up $6.47 to $197 this week. This card has gotten pretty pricey. Many times you'll find this in some Legacy sideboards like Esper Vial or Merfolk. But again, it's a very popular Commander card too, especially in competitive decks. Grim Monolith. This goes up $6.79 to $243.62, also on the reserve list. Also a highly played Commander card in many competitive decks. Serra Sanctum, also on the reserve list. It goes up $10.28 to $189.95. Now, this does show up in some Legacy enchantment builds, but again, you're going to find this in Commander enchantment heavy decks too. And Core Set 2021 brought us a bunch of new shrines, and that does have people building around these enchantments in like Sisay Weatherlight Captain builds. You're going to see a lot of cards moving up that are in those decks. Lion's Eye Diamond, say it with me now, on the reserve list. It goes up $13.03 to $334.44. And this is just an awesome Legacy card in Storm builds. It's in Dredge. You'll find this in Vintage, Commander as well. It combos in Commander with Wheel of Fortune, Underworld Breach, and Thassa's Oracle. Alright, 5th verse, same as the first, Tolarian Academy on the reserve list. It goes up $13.22 this week to $97.95. Now, you can't blame Commander for this one. This card is banned there, but it does see play in Vintage, a fair amount of play, even though it is restricted. Mishra's Factory, not on the reserve list. This is the one from Antiquities, but it is the summer variation, the one you see on the screen there. It goes up $15.02 to $94.99 this week. Alright, the reserve list is back with Living Plane. It goes up $15.28 to $163.98. Pretty big percentage jump. Nether Shadow from Unlimited. This actually just kind of disappeared off the marketplace a little bit this week. It goes up $20.05 to $30, but it is, again, because of scarcity more than anything right now. Berserk, this goes up $21.85 to $49.93. This is the one from Conspiracy Take the Crown, and this does see play in Legacy, Infect, and more in the format. It's also seen increased play in Commander and Kalamex the Stormsire builds, and now also it's showing up in Radha Heart of the Kjell builds too. Another unlimited card that's jumping quite a bit this week, has a pretty high percentage spike. It's Bad Moon. It goes up 2352 to 6931. And here's Bayou from Revised. It's on the reserve list. It goes up 2432 to 36131. Mox Diamond from Stronghold. This is on the reserve list, but it did get one more printing as a foil in From the Vault Relics before they closed that loophole in the reserve list. It goes up 3312 this week to 372.44. In Legacy, you'll find this in Maverick builds, Lands builds, and more. It's also a highly played commander card, especially again in competitive decks. Another good commander card here, it's Mana Drain from Legends, going up $109.31 though this week to $396.71. And finally for this section, we have Repentant Blacksmith from Arabian Nights. Now, this isn't even on the reserve list. There's been reprintings of this card you can get very cheap, but it did disappear off the marketplace. Maybe it was a targeted buyout. Technically, it's going up $159.97 this week to $186.50, but of course, don't pay that price. It is highly inflated. And that brings us to the Commander Spotlight. Yet again, it's very robust this week. A lot to talk about. I'll go quickly and give you the highlights, though, for each card. First, we have Tezzeret Artifice Master up $1.01 to $7.95. This has seen increased play in Alila Artful Provocateur builds. Also, you'll find this in Atraxa decks as well, which we talked about earlier. Next, we have Cryptic Command from Lorwyn up $1.02 to $23.74. And this does see a lot of modern play, but it also sees a fair amount of Commander play too, especially in competitive decks. Honden of Night's Reach, the one from Eternal Masters, up $1.05 to $1.62, and this has seen increased commander play in those Sisay Weatherlight Captain builds that are being pushed by the Core Set 2021 Shrines. Edric Spymaster of Tress, this is the one from Commander, going up $1.05 to $4.99. Fairly popular commander card, has seen increased play in Xera's The Writhing Storm decks too. Ophiomancer, this goes up $1.06 to $16.50, and this does see some commander play in like Yawgmoth Thran Physician builds and more. Shows up in a variety of new deck lists too, like Kel's Fight Fixer and Vito Thorn of the Duskrose, for example. Next is Tana the Bloodsower, and this only comes in foil. It goes up $1.12 to $8.93. Very popular partner commander, does see competitive play, and many times it works in tandem with Tymna the Weaver, which we're going to see a little later. Argothian Enchantress from Eternal Masters up $1.14 to $17.99, another card that plays well with enchantments. We're seeing this one, of course, in those Sisay Weatherlight Captain decks as well. Avacyn Angel of Hope from Avacyn Restored up $1.15 to $50.99. Very solid commander. Also shows up in Kalia of the Vast builds many times and has seen increased play recently in Cathril Aspect Warper decks. Balefire Dragon from Ultimate Masters up $1.16 to $17.45. This is also in some Kalia builds. And this is a card that gets a little bit better now that we have Fiery Emancipation in the format as well. Sheoldred Whispering One from New Phyrexia up $1.18 to $28.58. This is being reprinted in Jumpstart. It has been losing value. It does recover at least a little bit of that value this week. It does show up too in some of those new Tiny Bones deck lists I've been seeing. Seasoned Pyromancer up $1.22 to $19.95. This has seen increased commander play in Winona Joiner of Forces builds. Also a very solid modern card in a number of decks, including Gruul Midrange. As promised, Tymna the Weaver, also only found in foil. It goes up $1.22 this week to $42.21. Another very popular partner commander, great in a lot of competitive decks. Cathar's Crusade up $1.24 to $11.73. This is the one from Commander 2016. It has also seen increased play in Winona Joiner of Forces builds, and now it's showing up in Ren and Ciri Inseparable decks too. Also, we've been talking a lot about Atraxa and Raise the Redeemed. This is another card you'll find in those builds as well. Anointed Procession goes up $1.24 to $28.28. This has seen increased play recently in Ren and Ciri Inseparable builds, and also in Elenda the Duskrose builds, which have been more desirable recently because of the rules change. Grand Arbiter Augustin IV. This is the one from Dissension. It goes up $1.25 to $19.33. Very popular commander. Mirari's Wake, the original from Judgment. It goes up $1.28 to $21.37. This is another card that is seeing more play in commander now because of Ren and Ciri Inseparable builds. Rise of the Dark Realms. This is being reprinted in Jumpstart, but again, it did lose some value. Now it's recovering a little bit. It goes up $1.28 to $24.41. And of course, this is showing up in those Tiny Bones lists right now too. Sulphurous Springs. This is the one from 10th edition, up $1.29 to $13.60. I mentioned filter lands are getting hot. Also, these ally pain lands are heating up a little bit. Like the filter lands, they basically only see play nowadays in Commander. Command Beacon from Commander 2015, it goes up $1.30 to $24.78. This is a highly played utility land in Commander. Greater Oromancy up $1.30 to $38.49, another card you'll find in those Cesareo Weatherlight Captain builds. You'll also find this many times in Xur the Enchanter builds. Which brings us to Xur the Enchanter. This is the one for Modern Masters 2017. It goes up $1.32 to $6.31. Popular commander on its own. However, yes, this also shows up in Cesareo Weatherlight Captain decks too. Fabricate from Plane Chase, highly played card in Urza Lore High Artificer builds and more. Good in those competitive decks. It goes up $1.32 to $9.80 this week. Colony Hydra up $1.34 to $19.49. This one's interesting. It does show up in some Sixara builds, but it's not an X-Spell, so a lot of times I see this card getting skipped. Glen Elendra Archmage from Eventide. It goes up $1.40 to $9.99. Another solid commander card that sees competitive play. Rings of Brighthearth from Lorwyn. Another highly played commander card. Fantastic combo enabler. It goes up $1.40 to $51.45. Time Spiral on the reserve list. It goes up $1.43 to $114.79. Recently, it's seen increased commander play in Zebra's The Writhing Storm builds, also Brawlin and Shabraz, and don't forget the Locust God was reprinted in Commander 2022. Kalia of the Vast, the one from Commander, going up $1.44 to $38.23 like we mentioned earlier in the video. This is being reprinted in Double Masters. It has lost value, but it is going up a little bit this week. It's an extremely popular commander. Carador, Ghost Chieftain, also from Commander, another very popular commander as well. And this has also seen some increased play in Nethroi Apex of Death builds. It goes up $1.46 to $19.80. Razaketh the Foul-Blooded, another card you might find in a Kalia of the Vast build, but also just a solid commander card in general. It goes up $1.46 to $21.33. Pearl Medallion from Tempest. I say it every week. This whole cycle is great in Commander. It goes up $1.55 to $13.91. Maybe not a coincidence that this is the one for white spells, considering that a lot of these angels have been popular recently. The Scarab God. This goes up $1.57 to $28.44 after losing a little value recently. This is more of a rebound week than anything for it. It's a very popular commander too, and also does see a little sideboard play in Pioneer. Enchantress's Presence, another card that's going to be in those Cesareo Weatherlight Captain decks. This is from Commander 2018. It goes up $1.63 to $5.39. Another Filterland, Sunken Ruins from Shadowmoor, up $1.73 to $31.99. Skithiryx the Blight Dragon is back. It goes up $1.77 to $45.99. Very popular commander. It's found in Atraxa builds, also in the Ur-Dragon builds, another card that was reprinted not too long ago. But it has seen some increased play recently because it is just a fantastic mutate target. Many times you'll find this in Brokos Apex Forever or Otrimi the Ever Playful builds. Blood Chief Ascension. This goes up $1.78 to $21.75. Again, we have a card that saw some extra play when Kroxa came out, but is now showing up in some new deck lists, and those include Tiny Bones Trinket Thief and Vito Thorn of the Dusk Rose. Sig River Cutthroat up $1.92 to $10.04, another fairly popular commander, and also does see competitive play as well. Gisela Blade of Gold Knight. This is the one from Masters 25. It goes up $1.94 to $15.29. Many times you'll find this in Kalia of the Vast builds as well. And this is also another card that's maybe a little bit better because Fiery Emancipation exists. Here's the other doubling season copy I mentioned, the one from Battle Bond. It goes up $1.96 to $60.10 this week. Enlightened Tutor, it goes up $1.98 to $47.47. This is the one from Eternal Masters. And of course, tutors are critical for competitive Commander. They're highly played cards in the format. This one in particular is hot this week again because of those Cesareo Weatherlight Captain builds. Deranged Hermit from Urza's Legacy. This is on the reserve list, but it did get a reprinting as a Judge Foil before they closed that loophole. It goes up $206 to $19.93 this week. This does see some commander play. Thrumming Stone back again. It goes up $220 to $47.89. This was popular recently when the Year of the Rat Secret Lair came out, but now this is getting pushed by a new Jumpstart card. Bruvak the Grandiloquent has players interested in building Persistent Petitioner mill decks again, and of course this fits perfectly in those decks. Bruvak not only supports the mill strategy, but is also an advisor too, which is pretty cool. Fork from Revised, on the reserve list, it goes up $221 to $27.70, and this has seen some increased play in Calamax the Stormsire builds. Entomb from Odyssey, it goes up $221 to $30.10. This has seen more play in Commander with Nethroi Apex of Death, and also does see legacy play in Reanimator and more. Kiki-Jiki Mirror Breaker. We talked about this one earlier. Of course, it did get a push in Modern as well as Commander because of new cards like Conspicuous Snoop, Muxus Goblin Grandy. We also had the Krenko Mob Boss reprint. Mystery Booster goes up $1.09 to $11.40. Champions of Kamigawa goes up $221 to $30.99. Yavimaya Hollow up 227 to 53.98 on the reserve list. This is seeing more commander play now in Radha Heart of the Kjell builds, but it's just a solid commander card in general. Liliana of the Val for Modern Masters 2017 up 229 to 66.90 this week. This particular copy of the card has been pretty hot, going up a lot. I'm expecting it to plateau and maybe go down pretty soon. But not only is it a great modern card, we know that, but it's also seeing more commander play now. A lot of people are putting this in Tiny Bones lists. Doubling Cube from 5th Dawn. Will this show up in Double Masters? Maybe. It goes up 233 to 26.99 this week, though. This has seen increased play in 6R the Exemplary builds. Another Honden here, of course, being pushed by those new Core Set 2021 shrines. Honden of Seeing Winds. Eternal Masters goes up $1.52 to $4.31. Champions of Kamigawa up $2.39 to $4.07. Null Rod on the reserve list. It goes up $2.51 to $78. This does see some competitive commander play. Also a pretty popular vintage card. You'll find this in Golo stacks in the main and sideboards of other decks. Natural Order from Portal. It goes up $2.55 to $33.99. This particular copy, of course, getting harder and harder to find in good condition. It is a popular commander card, and it does see some legacy play too. Aloran on the reserve list. It goes up $2.71 to $41.91. This is in legacy Aloran builds, but now is seeing some increased play in commander in Shulane Teller of Tales decks, as well as Rin and Siri Inseparable decks. Another sliver today with Synapse Sliver. This one goes up $2.73 to $18.33. Akroma's Memorial from Future Sight. Another card that's good in commander with Riesler Redeemed. Also has seen increased play though now with Rin and Siri Inseparable in those builds. It goes up $2.73 to $33.64. Sensei's Divining Top, the one from Champions of Kamigawa. It goes up $2.90 to $49.95. Highly played commander card many times in competitive builds. Very frequently, you'll find this in Yuriko the Tiger's Shadow builds, and of course that was reprinted recently in Mystery Boosters. This also sees a fair amount of vintage play too. Damnation, fantastic board sweep and commander showing up in some of those Tiny Bones builds. Modern Masters 2017 up 228 to 37.82. Planar Chaos goes up 301 to 46.65. Toxic Deluge, another board sweep in black, moving for the same reasons Damnation is. Commander 2013 goes up $1.98 to 38.39. Eternal Masters up 302 to 36.93. Paradigm Shift on the hardest part of the ring, and this is on the reserve list. It goes up 315 to 14.87. Now, this has seen more play since Sasha's Oracle has come out in the Commander format, but also now it's seeing legacy and vintage play in Merfolk builds with that card too. Necropotence, this is the one from Iconic Masters. It goes up 335 to 28.37. Very popular commander card, and yup, it's going to be in those Tiny Bones decks. Also does see vintage play as well in Doomsday decks and more. Replenish, it's on the reserve list, and yet another card that is being pushed by those new shrines in Core Set 2021. It goes up 343 to 57.86. Karlov of the Ghost Council, it goes up 407 to 23.29. Fairly popular commander, sometimes in Atraxa builds too. This may see more play going forward in Vito Thorn of the Duskrows builds from Core Set 2021, and or Witch of the Moors builds from Jumpstart. Reflecting Pool, the original one from Tempest, it goes up 412 to 23.56. Solid commander mana-based card, sees a little modern play. Another Goblin, it's Goblin Sharpshooter, moving up in commander for the same reasons some of the other ones were moving up we talked about, but this also has seen additional play in Kelsey and the Plague builds. Explosion Sound Secret Lair copy goes up 263 to 23.75. Commander 2013 up 395 to 11.99. Onslaught goes up 675 this week to 15.99. Miri Weatherlight Duelist from Commander 2017, only found in foil. It did get a reprint in foil in the OMG Kitty Secret Lair recently. This goes up 714 to 1816 this week, and it is being pushed by Rin and Siri Inseparable. Treachery on the reserve list, it goes up 781 to 5751, very solid commander card. Splinter Twin, Modern Masters 2015 up 804 to 1846. Rise of the Eldrazi up 814 to 1906. Okay, this has seen some increased commander play in Calmex the Stormsire builds, but that's not really why it's jumping like this right now. We found out a few days back that Wizards is going to make a ban list update announcement on Monday that will impact Historic, Modern, Pioneer, and Pauper. Whenever we know a change is coming to Modern, this card jumps up in the air as people speculate that maybe it will become unbanned in the format. Will it happen on Monday? Time will tell. If it does, this card will go higher. If it doesn't, it will go back down again. Maybe not to where it was before though, because I think a lot of people are still holding out hope that eventually it will happen. Lake of the Dead on the reserve list. It goes up 1073 to 4925. Of course, this is in a number of different commander builds, but yeah, it's in Tiny Bones deck list too. That's why it's going up. Birthing Pod from New Phyrexia up $12.53 to $28. And again, another card that has seen a fair amount of commander play. It has seen increased play ever since Nethroi Apex of Death came out. Also sees increased play in Taeum Luminous Enigma builds. But again, this is all about speculation that maybe this becomes unbanned on Monday in Modern. Volrath Stronghold on the reserve list, going up $19.39 this week to $83.99. Another very solid commander card that's going to show up in a lot of Tiny Bones decks in the future. Sliver Queen, here's the Sliver Lord that is on the reserve list. It goes up $24.04 this week to $200. And that brings us to our premium spotlight. And as I say every week, I don't like to spend too much time on the rare foils and promos because when you look at online sales, if you don't have a lot of sales of any given card, that data can be very skewed. It can be easily manipulated too. But in this section, I do like to find a few premium cards that appear like they're moving naturally with the market for the most part. I picked 3 this time. The first one we actually kind of talked about in the video, but the regular copy wasn't moving that much. It's Sisay Weatherlight Captain. The foil copy is going up $18.45 to $34.60. And of course, this is because a lot of players are using this as the commander to build around those shrines. The next 2 cards we did already talk about. Splinter Twin, the Modern Masters 2015 foil goes up $18.80 to $39.99. The Rise of the Eldrazi foil goes up $25.30 to $57.99. And finally, Birthing Pod, the foil from New Phyrexia, goes up $27.04 to $71.82. And that does it for this week's Market Watch. We'll see what happens on Monday. I'm sure whatever announcement they do make will impact some card prices. Until next time, though, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.